Once again, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you join us from. This is the Bottle Liberia. Tonight to discuss burning issues that hot Liberia and also trending issues around the world. We have for me tonight my colleague from London, Paul the Lord Play, and as well as my good man from the Kingdom of Norway, His Excellency, Brother Linford Egongoe. Tonight we'll be discussing issues that make headlines in Liberia. Basically, we'll be looking at the newspapers in Liberia as well as some trending issues that are making headlines around the world. My name is Jamal Kamara. I'm joining you from Manchester, UK. Now we'll go for a musical break and come back. We'll dive into the story. Buckle up, take me for a ride.
Boy.
If we're pregnant, speak up.
Sexy. Only records, Now you bad liquor on I tell what you want you to don't can show yourself. Got plenty dancing, now you dancing, you get happy. I say don't can show yourself. You using Chani, Mr. Chani, I say to never bad, don't can show yourself. You say you young boy, your sling on a papa bob, I say don't can show yourself. You don't get money, you want eat shawarma, eat some pizza, don't can show yourself. I using sense on you, using sense on your own Chani, don't can show yourself. Your Nina Kebe, you go or you say your Nina Sarah, don't can show yourself. That's who me bluffing, are you bluffing? You get nothing, I say don't can show yourself. Now you buying gas, you say I'm on a runway speed, don't can show yourself. You say your Nina Johnny, you not get no money, I say don't can show yourself. You just see shy boy, you want can to smoke all the shisha, don't can show yourself. You just police boy, you want can tell me back on NASA, don't can show yourself. You say you married, you not get no ring, I say my friend, don't can show yourself. You won't can be so trusted, you not get no money, I say don't can show yourself. You say you don't get what you use it to 50 week, yeah, don't can show yourself. You eating kobo, then you asking for napping, I say don't can show yourself. Just you get ready, then you won't stop me from passing, don't can show yourself. You just usher, then you won't come to all let it go, I say don't can show yourself.
Once again, ladies and gentlemen, thanks for joining us wherever you are joining us from. Jamal Kamara is my name, live from the city of Manchester, UK. I want you to please help us, John, share the show if you just joining us. And we're going to be talking about Liberian newspapers. Too many good news in the paper and some news that you want to know about. And we'll be looking at what is trending around the world tonight. So we'll be taking around, and I ask you to please share the show while we go around. First, I want to join my colleagues here to introduce themselves and pick them. And please don't forget to subscribe and like the show. I'll join my colleague from London, Paul the Lord Paul, how are you today? And how are you coming on from London? I say it from London.
Well, Jamal, good evening. Good evening, Linford. This is the Lord Cholope. In the great city of London. London is great. As you can see, I'm in my full gear of the winter weather. So that's to show you that, yeah, it is great. And and also, I just want to say, thank God to be among the living, to be among you guys today, to have a very fruitful discussion tonight.
Right.
And to our audience, I want to say, thanks for joining tonight. Kindly share the show.
Right.
So how
Linford?
you in, Jamal?
Oh, I'm fine. I would take you guys back a little bit. I would digress a little bit to sports before we go to our main topic. Yeah, I know you guys are talking about Arsenal, two Arsenal supporters right here tonight, and I'm a United supporter. So we'll see how Man City is doing tonight. You would tell me I think Paul would tell me a little bit about that before we go forward. Leaford, talk to you. What Leaford? I know your weather is a little bit much better now. I think in Scandinavia it's very cold, and you must be enjoying the weather.
Oh, we um today is what? Today is Tuesday.
26 Tuesday, yeah.
Okay. All of Sunday it was severe snow, and
Mm.
yesterday it stopped. Then today it start to be like rain to melt the snow away, so it becomes every time it happens like that, it becomes very dangerous, very slippery.
Mhm.
Unlike when the snow is falling, but when the snow falls and then it become, of course, it was a little bit warmer today because it was like +1, +2. So then the snow gets wet, become watery, and then all over that is like a little bit of rain, so it's very uncontrollable. But I think we hope. I check a weather report today. It's going to be a little bit warmer. I think the coolest it will be tomorrow will be between 2 and 3 minus. So the snow will stay beyond the ground, but it will be much better. But
Mhm.
we look forward to more downpour of snow in the coming weeks, and that will lead us to the white Christmas. As you know, we are preparing for the
Okay.
white Christmas.
I think I've not seen White Christmas for years now. Paul, you may have seen it, but before I go to Paul to a little bit, I think please just we'll get to the real topic. I just want to discuss a little bit with the what's going on with our weather. Linford, I also understand that in Scandinavia at this time of the year, you guys don't see the sunlight or daylight. And another thing, this time you guys get darker every from 7 to 7 is dark, and also
Well,
you know
it depends.
yeah,
I mean,
okay.
where
You
I
don't see
am,
daylight
we
this
see
time of the year, is it?
where I am. We see the day. We do see the daylight, but we got a shorter daylight.
How many
Uh,
hours you will see the daylight from
so
the winter period?
So for now, we begin to see the daylight around 7:30, 8 o'clock. But
Mhm.
come December, January, we'll begin to see the daylight at least after 9 o'clock, like 9 o'clock or 9:10, and then
In the
it will be
morning.
like no sun. You will not see the sun though, but the day will just break like early morning. And that the place clear, and then it will be from like 9 o'clock in the morning until 2 o'clock, 2:15, 2:20, 30 is dark, and then of course
Wow.
3 o'clock is totally dark, and that's where I am. That's in the middle of the country. But if you go further south, it's like they will see the sun like maybe around 9 o'clock, or they will have daylight until maybe 3 o'clock,
Hmm.
an hour after us. But in the north, they will not have daylight. It's going to be all darkness throughout. Especially there is a place called Samara or Summer Island, where that's the only time, that's the only place in the entire world where the government they can bring the water and night can fall the water. It's not a day breaking, night coming day break, then I know the government want daylight one night. But and
Wow.
so you can't look at the time. There's nothing that time is not important there. So in the summer, to better describe that place, summer that's the last place going to the North Pole in Norway. So that place they will break in May, they will break. When day breaks, it will not get dark until November. So it will be sunlight throughout. So you need to look at time because what you looking at time for? Maybe because what the people can work any hour they want to. Stores can
Hmm.
open any hour they want.
Wow.
Restaurant, anything can happen anytime.
So quite
Then
interesting. When you just travel from Africa, you just arrive in the country, you just want to go
yeah,
home. So
you'll
the
be
war is
blessed.
come to
So
an end.
and then in the night, and then starting from then November now, they will not see sunlight anymore. So it will just be dark. You look at your time, you sleep, you wake up anytime, you go to work, offices are open anytime. They ain't got time for time. Nobody looking at clock to say, okay, 7 o'clock, 8 o'clock, no.
Quite interesting. Lord, the Lord to play. I know you. I'm not going to discuss weather with you. I want to tell you,
Yes, sir.
one thing in UK is about football. Football is a religion in the UK, and you've been following. You're one of the so-called enthusiasts, and you've been following football till day. Tell me what's happening with Man City, Man United, Manchester City. What's going on? 5 times defeat in row, and the next challenge will be Liverpool. When they're defeated, they're out of the game. Don't you think so?
Well, Jamal, before I go into football, to our audience that joining us for the first time, I want to say welcome to the Bottomland discussion. We have a fascinating topic tonight. We just want to digress a little bit, but we'll be discussing Liberia, the rule of law. We'll be looking at international news as well. So come and share the show. Regards to football being a religion, it is true it's religion because on Sunday, when the football games are on, the stadium will have like 80,000 spectators. The churches will be empty. That's how it is in the United and
But no,
City,
no, it's not
the
United.
two
It's City
famous
and
team
yeah, go on,
yeah, that was
go on,
I
go on.
just said give me a chance. United and City, the two famous teams in the city of Manchester. Now, City been dominating lately, but now the other teams have now worked out how to beat City. And this is why City are now struggling. And that's the fact. And funnily, this guy is so good that people that he trained and his assistant now they have found the way of beating him. Other coaches have learned from them too. So City is now struggling. And that's it's almost like an empire. You can't be there forever. Somebody else will take over from you. So the position is changing. And this guy, in the next 2 years, he may leave to go somewhere else. That is the English football. And that's what makes the English football more is well exciting to watch because everyone capable of beating everyone. Nobody dominate like in Scotland. You only have two teams that they will in Spain. You only have two teams that can only win the how do you call it title over there. But here, the least can surprise you. So
Right. So I just want you to comment on this,
this
Paul.
way it is.
Paul, tell me, December 1st, the United City, how you say that? Man City, Manchester City will be going against Liverpool December 1st at 4 o'clock UK time. And that's the biggest, I mean, that's the, how do you call it? The only button on Joe coat. If City loses this game, that's the end of the in the Premier League because they have lost 5 games in a row. So definitely the Liverpool against City, Manchester City on December 1st will be they have to hang on that. So what do you think Pep stands right now? What are you thinking? All those laurels he won, the big names he carried for the 3 years, winning the thing. What does he stand now? I mean, consider football in UK because with all the big things you make, at some point, once you start going down, I mean, the teams of City, the management are not saying anything right now. They all keep quiet and see what's going to happen on December 1st. But what do you think will happen in case the guy lost this game? He loses the game.
You know what happened here? Liverpool is in a dangerous territory now. You see, City have been beaten 5 times. So nobody should take it easy because they will come out strong. And if Liverpool not careful, they will get a shock of their life because at the moment the momentum is on their side. And that's the beauty of the game. So never rate City off yet. We still this could be because what happened when Liverpool beat them, Liverpool stand a very good chance of winning the title. So City still want to retain her title. So it will be very interesting to see. And that's the game we'll all be watching for. And guess what? You have the letter Chelsea, Arsenal, and Aston Villa. Those other teams are just waiting for some mistake to happen to Liverpool. They will all pound on it. And that's the exciting thing about the game. So for the neutral, they will enjoy it. But for us that have I think City should beat Liverpool on that day. That will give teams like Arsenal, Chelsea, and other teams the opportunity to catch up with Liverpool. At the moment, Liverpool is running like I don't know, they're unstoppable at the moment, but City could
8
stop them.
points.
So
They are 8 points in the league. 8 points in the league right now on the Premiership League, on the England Premiership League. Linford, I think you want to comment before we go straight into our topic tonight. You want to say something about the game now on hand?
Well, my major concern or my major happiness is that at least we're getting back again. When I mean we, I'm talking about the Gunners. We're getting back again, and yeah, people have always said we're not winning, we don't carry trophy, we are not trophy winning team. But you know, it's not all about winning a trophy. In fact, you got in the EPL, you got over 20 teams. Okay, so all of them cannot win a trophy. But the entertainment part of the game and that standard that any team brings to the game that will make the spectators to be interested is what I think most people look for. Okay, I mean, and winning a trophy is not something that you know that makes a team a better team. Liverpool won trophy during the I call it the Corona time. What happened to them? They been beating Nigeria all red. Manchester
United,
when,
yeah, under Ferguson,
yeah,
Manchester United.
when Manu was there, and that's my best coach I ever saw. You know, those days, you know, when we talk about Liverpool, I mean, or Manchester, we talk about there were people that when the game is on, no matter what I'm doing, I'll stop. When Manchester is playing those days, I will stop to watch the game for one reason: the way Sir Ferguson had that team under control, and the way he used to chew his chicken. Okay, I used to read in my, I mean, this no, Chima, if I chew chicken for 5 minutes, I'll put on my jaw, and you know, my teeth will pick us out. But that paper will chew chicken for
I know. One thing the camera used to pick up, you know,
yeah,
when he tense, they will focus on his mouth. He will chew 2 hours, complete
yeah.
hours, just chewing.
And he always had it. He always had a thing in pogo.
Yeah, that's true.
And then
Yeah.
you know what was it Lyon or which team in France Batel were playing for?
Mhm.
PSG. Huh?
But you know,
Yeah,
PSG, yeah.
yeah, goalkeeper Batel. When
Yeah,
Batel still
yeah,
a goal, even if they score 10 goals on Batel, I don't worry. But because so just let Harry Gaken man. Okay, people that only work out. And football was interesting for me those days, but nowadays football have become money making instrument, and so the people will
So
play. And
someone said Batel
my
playing for
specific,
Rivers.
huh?
Rivers is a pro sec, made a correction. Batel money for Monaco, as you just mentioned.
Oh,
Thank you
okay,
for the correction. Go on, Limpa.
okay. So you see, my thing about football is the interest, the entertainment part of it. Yes, if my team wins, fine, I'm happy. But you know, the Bible says not everybody that runs in a marathon or runs in a race will win. But then at the same time, the Bible says you should run in a way that you will win. So if you run and you don't win, that doesn't disqualify you that you didn't run. You ran, but you didn't win. So you know, people when people say, "Oh, my team, Arsenal is not a trophy winning team," yeah, no, I don't worry. But at least we play. In fact, one of the main things I know about Arsenal is that we prepare players. We prepare players, and then people buy them. So that's good. I think that's one thing on our belt.
Good excuse. Okay, we want to. That's enough of football right now. We want to find a time we'll be discussing football here. I think we've noticed that most people that follow us, they like to discuss football, and we are in the country of football, more especially in the UK and now also other part of Europe. They got they got Barca, they got other countries
Yeah.
like
And you know, when it comes to football, we in Norway here.
Yeah.
Well, it's not our team because you know the time other European countries are playing, that's when we have winter, and we're not active on the field. And when summer comes, when everybody's going out, that's when you know that's when we go on the football field. I remember when I first came to Europe, when I first came to Norway in the year 2003, I started playing for a third division team. Okay, and I was playing for my country. We were playing anywhere about ourselves, country league, and then you know the best. The people that will win will go to represent the country. So summer at the time we should play in the winter. I mean, sometimes we practice in the winter. Practice time. Our winter is the practice time. Imagine in the -15, -20, we playing football. It was just in the snow. Now on the football field in the snow. So you know it was weird for me. And so football is now our thing in the Scandinavia. When we talk about the winter sport, that's our thing. That's where we can make a mark.
Right. We talk about football. You got the big five. You got Germany, Italy, France, England, Spain. The last one is what? Do you know? I'll leave that to your question. The big five in Europe. So I gave you just four. The next time when you tell me the fifth one. Anyway, a little bit of sport. We'll find time to talk about sport here. I think most of our guys follow sport. We want to say River says pro. Thank you very much for the correction. Thanks for following. We want to say a big welcome to all those who follow wherever you join us. So we want to take a quick break and come back. We'll dive into our newspapers and other major news. Just stay around. Stay tuned.
You're watching the review of Liberian newspapers headlines that made news during the week on the Bottom Line Liberia. Please join us every Tuesday and Friday at 7 p.m. Liberian time, 8 p.m. UK time, 9 Central European time.
Once again, thank you very much for joining us. This is 26th of November, Tuesday, 2024. Another editions of the Bottom Line tonight. We want to say welcome to Bataki, our man, also not forgetting Rivers Pro, and others, many others that are joining us to follow us tonight. If you also have a comment, you want to make an input, please, you're welcome. Drop in your comment, we'll discuss it. And I'll ask my colleague to also, whoever is following on their link, we should also let you hear from you and share your input with us. And we will take you straight into, but Paul, give us a little bit, what is on our menu tonight, Paul?
Well, so thank you, Jamal, and good evening to our audience. And for those of you just joining, kindly share the show. What's on the menu? We'll talk a little bit about what's happening in the world and just a little to give brief of what have just happened in the last 40 minutes that in the Middle East regarding the fight with Hezbollah and Israel. And we're also going to look at the rule of law, our lawmakers, what's going on. And so those are things that on the menu. We're also going to look at the university, how many universities in Liberia, why so many universities. There's some good topic that we'll have there. We'll look at that, but we'll start with the international news first. Now, in the last 45 minutes, the Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu has called for a ceasefire between the Hezbollah, wherever they call themselves. And this is Hezbollah, yeah. And funnily, 2 days ago, Hezbollah launched over 300 missiles into all the Israeli big cities. So the question is, why now? And these are the people that are just going about bombing Lebanon, Beirut every day. So is that all? This ceasefire have to do with the ICC charge that against the criminal arrest? These are things that are happening. And then the situation in Ukraine, that something that we've all been looking at with Russia retaliating to the missile that were launched by the West. They had their own meeting in Poland. The outcome of that meeting, from the New York Times today, the speculation, they didn't call the name, that Biden is trying to give Ukraine nuclear weapon to counter out Russia. So these are all things that are happening. But the interesting one is Benjamin Netanyahu calling for ceasefire. So this is that's why I just want to get you guys' views.
Right.
You have your opinion. It's all on the mainstream news that he have called for ceasefire. And in the ceasefire, what they said, they gone by the UN resolution 1701, and they asking they want for the Lebanese soldiers to patrol the southern part of Lebanon that sharing border with Israel. And that group will also be back with UN peacekeeper with the American and French troop patrolling. And this ceasefire, they want to give you 60 days to see if this is going to work. So this is where we are. What's going on in the world is, are they trying to close the situation in the Middle East and focus on Europe? This is the big question, guys. What's going on? What your take on this?
Yeah, I still will say the details of the ceasefire is not coming fully. You just gave me a bit of it. I think 45 minutes ago, it's just a little bit of is a bit sketchy in terms of what the details will look like in terms of the ceasefire, which was recommended by Benjamin Netanyahu, the Israeli Prime Minister. But what we hope to see, we want to see peace in the region, Paul. This has been going on since 2023 November, when the October, sorry, when the Hezbollah, supported by the Palestinians, went into Israel to attack the concerts. From that day, there has been no peace in our region. And it's been going, it's spreading, a spiral of violence going to Israel. We're looking at We're going to Lebanon. We're also looking at going into places like Iran, where Iran, with the Middle East is kind of domino effect. If you're not careful, you're going to spread all over. But no, the West's hand is full right now. We got issue of Ukraine. At the same time, we got Israel going on with in Hezbollah, and also at the same time attacking in Gaza. So the whole of the region is on a really fire. So I think the joint, the joint arrest warrant, which is being supported by the British government, you keep on the same note. The only country that stands abstain from arresting Benjamin Netanyahu is USA. The rest of the countries are in support of arresting if he does travel, anywhere into Europe. But that also put fear in him. That could be roughly one of the factors that will allow him to say, you know what, I'm recommending a ceasefire, but the details will follow. So I think there's a time that they need to settle down and put this region on the peace, a peace treaty that would the international community can observe and make sure the both people live together. Look how many millions of lives have been destroyed. But for just a year over and over. And Israel is totally engaged. If you look at it economically, politically, their country is down, they're just not functioning anymore. They are just war. Nothing's happening. So he's engaged on all three fronts. Look, he's engaged in Iran. Israel is engaged with Iran, engaged with Lebanon, engaged with Palestine. Three countries, you can fight them all. It's not going to work. People think like it's powerful. It's not working. So also, if you look at it, we also have the side effect. The side effect coming to us, Europe. Look what's happening in Ukraine. We'll go to the Ukraine story. So I think it's kind to get to a sense to say, the war is getting too much. I'm engaging three war fronts. How much money can you spend when the military hardware has been sold to Israel to attack this country? And I can tell you, these Arab-related people, they're not getting anything. You can hit them 247, they will fight back. And this is what's happening right now in Lebanon, in Iran, as well as Gaza. And that's why we thought Gaza will be eliminated in a year or two. In a couple of months. Look how we are going to a year now, since October up to this year. The fighting in Gaza is still going on. That's why you guys have live weapons. They are still reacting or fighting back on Israel. So Paul is something like, for me, it's a good news. I think we should welcome it. I think the guys should, I think Benjamin Netanyahu should go for, if he's honest with what he's just said, something's going, it's a good news for the Middle East, and we should look at it and wish well that this go well for people in the Middle East, and I wish have some peace in that region.
Yeah. Okay, before, what your thoughts before we get into the Liberian news?
Liberian news?
I said, what your thought before we move on to the Liberian news?
Okay. Yeah, this HO war between the Palestinians and the Israelis, for me, I think it's just another tactic by Benjamin Netanyahu. No, listen, we've been watching this war very, very long time, and we've seen leaders come and go in Israel, and we've seen leaders come and go in Palestine. The likes of the PLO, the late PLO leader Yasser Arafat, who was very influential in some peace brokering between the two. In fact, during his time, I think it was one of the times that peace lasted for long. And then we've seen people like the likes of Netanyahu has been there once, twice, and he's there now. Then we've seen people like Menachem Begin. We've seen so many other leaders come in Israel, and this particular war still persists. They will ceasefire. The Palestinians will build their broken homes. The Israelis will try to break their broken homes, rebuild it, and they will even build fence as high as what, but still the war will come back. And so I remember talking to some people one time, and somebody said, man, this war, if you trace it back to biblical days, that's a David and Goliath war, say continuing so. But this ceasefire, I think your major question was, why at this time, well, that's one of the questions that people want to know, why at this time that Israel is trying to call for ceasefire with Hezbollah? One, we want to know, what is the status of the war with the Palestinians, with Israel? And then what is the status of the war with Israel and Hezbollah, because Hezbollah is the other group from Lebanon, and then the Palestinians from Gaza, they are there. So, like Jima correctly said, you can't create so many enemies at one point, and this is the thing that suffers the West. When you want to show that you're so powerful, you got all that might, and then you're there attacking everybody. Look, when you live close to people, that's why they call them neighbors. Neighbors are neighbors. No matter how bad they are neighbors. No matter how whatever they are your neighbors. If your house is on fire, the first person you look up to is your neighbor. But if you start to fight all your neighbors, tell me, who are you? To the point where people who is sharing land with. Now, I'm saying this directly to the Israelis. No matter what happened with you and the Palestinians, but they are your neighbor. What if other countries came from elsewhere to come in and do something to you? Some of your people will seek refuge in Palestine. So, I think they should be able to look at this war and end it. It's belated action by Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu of Israel. Is belated. And to address the question as to why at this time, Hamas is Hamas. Every group is a terror. Terror. When I hear people refer to one group as terrorist group, I laugh. When you killing and terrorizing other people, you are terrorists. No matter who you are, whether you are a country or individual, or whether you are a group of people, as long as you're making war, you're keeping other people, harassing other people, you are terrorists. The word terrorism means harassment. To terrorize, to harass, to create havoc. So anybody can be terrorist. Any country can be terrorist as long as you creating havoc for other countries. So at some point, America can be terrorist. At some point, Spain can be terrorist. I'm giving you an example. At some point, Israel can be terrorist. At some point, Hamas as a group can be terrorist. So anybody can be terrorist, depending what you're doing at what time. So to classify one group as terrorist, and once you blame or label people, labeling is very dangerous. It's psychologically bad, because once you label somebody as this, that person will automatically want to refer to acts that will suit that label. But that would be a different discussion. But my hope is that this ceasefire will last. I hope Benjamin Netanyahu is not only buying time, and then all of a sudden we'll hear that they throw more rockets at Hamas or at or Hezbollah. You see, and I can, somebody asked whether this ceasefire will last. I can want to bet. I really want to bet that it may not even hold, because Hezbollah or Hamas might continue. They will say, no, we're not agreeing now.
But the thing is, that only the ceasefire is between them and Hezbollah, but they will still continue bombing Hamas. Yeah. You see? So
guess
what? Because you might be right. If they continue, then Hezbollah may come back too. Then so is this going to hold? That's the question.
That's the biggest question. The Russia's pro-top, or they are designated terrorist group. No group who designates who decide that I'm a rule. Somebody will look at me and call me a rule. Does that mean that I'm a designated rule? Somebody will look at me and say I'm a rude person, or I'm a bad person. Yeah, that's how the person looks at me. But guess what? How do I look at another person too? I will call you, So it's like, I remember when the war was coming to Liberia, right? Everybody was calling the rebels, rebel. When the guys came to the town, they say you're calling a rebel. They say no, you're a freedom fighter. You see it? So anybody can give you any name. I remember when I was at the radio station that morning, July the 2nd, when the guys hit. So everybody watching, they said, no, you are not rebel, you are a freedom fighter. Everybody, hold on, hey, what?
But the thing with hypocrisy in the world, this is ANC of South Africa was a terrorist group. But then when Nelson Mandela became president, all of them want to be friends with Nelson Mandela. So you never know. When the Palestinian people are free, everybody won't be friendly with the leader. So it's the way the Western propaganda is so good, so the good is. So but anyways, let's move on.
It's the West that will always describe people as a certain group of people. When they say,
exactly.
Paul, that good man, Paul, whatever Paul is doing bad, Paul, that good man. Well, when they say Port Apartment, hey, everybody should follow and say Port Apartment, you know.
Yeah. Right. So, Jamal, you want to take us through this one here? Because this is what traded in Liberia, the one below. Take us through about the Supreme Court.
Okay. Yeah, ladies and gentlemen, just Johnny will just talk about the what's happening around in the world, more especially the recent story is Nathaniel is the one that recommending is recommending his cabinet to approve the ceasefire. But anyway, whatever the case may be, we hope this is going to happen. That's why he's recommend first time that he recommend that his cabinet will approve the ceasefire.
Yeah, the first time since
He's
the war
first
started,
time recommend that for ceasefire. So what Paul just said that before I go to the story on the screen is like he has been attacked on 300 missiles hit major city in Israel. That's for fear in them. I mean, Hezbollah is not like something that will stop. They will keep fighting until those guys don't give up.
yeah,
They don't give
this
up.
is the point. This is the point I was trying to push, because several times there were attempts for ceasefire, and Israel said no, we'll continue to bombard Hamas and other places. And even they didn't cross from Hamas, they went to into Lebanon. So you took a war there, and then you called for ceasefire. People say no, we instead fight. We don't fight more. You know,
I mean, these are the people that go on the war front. They are not under any influence. They don't take anything. They will just go and just fight. If you fight with passion, you can fight for long. So I think Paul, you can bring the paper up and let's go through the major story in Liberia. Thank you very much. If you just joined me again, wants to welcome me to want to go through to Liberian major newspaper right now. First on the screen, if you just join us, is the hot pepper on the leading newspaper making headlines in Liberia. Now they say there's a story about the Supreme Court. I mean, what is dominating right now in Liberia is the fire in the House of Representatives, 2 speakers, 1 deputy, and 1 house. That's our story in Liberia. So, gentlemen, there was an issue concerning the Supreme Court making decision concerning the embattled speaker JFK, J. Fonati Kofa, right? Has sent a writ, mandamus to the house to the Supreme Court, and this is the result. So, Linford, explain to all what is the paper is saying concerning what was the status quo. He said that you return to the status quo. What does it mean in simple English to most of our followers that may not understand what it means?
yes,
This issue came yesterday from the Supreme Court.
I have no legal background,
Mhm.
but I do listen to most of the people who are legal minded, and I think the writ of McDermott is like requesting the court to put hold on certain thing that somebody is doing. Like if I was living on your land or in your house, Lujima, and then you came and you want to evict me, you start to pull my things out, I have the right to go to the court and ask and pray the court for writ of McDermott, that is to stop you until a certain time when we both can have a fair trial before the law, before you can take any action. I don't know whether I'm correct, but writ of McDermott, I know it means to stop. So for if I pray for A, it means that I want the court to stop certain action against me being taken by somebody. So when the court talks about the lawmakers should go back to status quo ante, meaning go back to where you were before. Okay, if you and myself run the marathon, if you and myself were on the marathon line and we're on the start line, we're running marathon and we're on the start line, and then the fire is going, and then a false start or you false start and we ran few meters, they will tell us, go back. The referee will say, go right back to where you started from. That's status quo ante. So, and the reason why the Supreme Court, that was not even the Supreme Court. If that's the old story about the first writ, that was a judge or justice. One of the how you call them? Yeah, one of the justices in the court. So he said, go back because they had different explanation. Kofa carry the complaint that people want to illegally remove me. So when the court call the majority group, when they say no, we don't want to remove him. Okay, they changed the story that they don't want to remove him, but they got certain counts against him. So the court said, okay, because the may say you want to remove me, you'll say no, we don't want to remove him. So there's no case. But then you go back and go follow your own law. If somebody you accuse somebody in your house, how you can judge a person, you'll go there. Because if they have said, yeah, we cannot remove the man, but they said, no, we don't want to remove him. We just got counts against him. So the court said, okay, the judge said, okay. But I think as we speak, today, I think the court was supposed to, the full bench, that is all of the justices, was supposed to give that opinion. That was just one judge's opinion at that time, okay? So we're waiting, all of us waiting. I think this is why I've been flipping the pages of all newspapers today, but I didn't see anything. So, we're all waiting here to hear what will happen. But they were supposed to go back and go do their true process in their own house in conformity with their rules.
Right. Yeah, okay. Thank you very much. Paul, what legality, legal power does the Supreme Court will have? I know you're not a legal mind, but I think you have your own understanding of how the Supreme Court or the House of Reserves in case of, with this case, you've been following it very well, religiously been following it. And where do you see the Supreme Court position asking them to go back to where they were? That was October 25th, October 15, 2024, where they started when it came with these accusations against the Senator Kofa. He said the Supreme Court is saying, go back to where you were. Let's start from there. And they are not listening. Yesterday, I think you can put a newspaper up, there was an election. Richard N. Cohn was elected as the Speaker of the House. Now we have two speakers right now. Yeah, two speakers right now with two speakers, one deputy, and one house. Where will this court decision be respected? Because it seems to be that there are three branches of government here: judiciary, the House, and the executive. So the legislature, executive, and the judiciary. Now they all run, together, work together, but one does not have power over another. So will they respect the Supreme Court decision? Give me from a layman point of view and how you've been following the story.
Thank you, Jamal. Well, then I'm not a legal person, so I will just give my own layman view on this. The thing is common sense that come to play. The Supreme Court can only interpret the law, how they see the law. So if you come up with your own rules and the way you present your rules, the Supreme Court can look at the legality of your rule and say, this is how you're supposed to govern. That the rule of the Supreme Court. So the Supreme Court is just there to guard the two other branches. This is the way forward. Now, the Supreme Court, the justice in chamber, to then go back to status code, right? That means you'll go back and do where you started from, you'll do the right thing. It's just a piece of advice. But this house have its own rule that govern themselves, and it cannot abide. No other people can interfere with them. So what the Supreme Court have done, go back to status code, telling them, go and do the right thing. Now, we know that the full bench supposed to come on with an opinion, and that opinion will tell us based on their own rules they set. And that rules they set, that's what every Liberian is talking about, the rule of law. You said in your own rules that if you don't like the speaker, you need to gather up to 49 names. That 49 names, and you have to have a cause that you present to the speaker that we don't want you, and then he will excuse himself, and then somebody preside for the guy can defend himself. That's their own rules, and they refuse to abide by that rule. So Supreme Court is telling them, go back to status quo and do the right thing. And everyone is saying the same thing, go and abide by the rules that you created. So this is where we are. So you cannot set up a kangaroo judicial system and then you come back and say, oh, we can do what we want to do. It's not what you want to do. you were sent there to represent the people. So
Right.
who come from District 5, Mosurado County, we send somebody to represent us. And based on the representation, she voted for Kofa, which the district accepted. Now, if you want to remove him, go on your same rules that you established to move, you go by this rule. Why don't you abide by the rules? And this is the question. So wait until the Supreme Court come up with that, with their view, with their understanding of the law, and then we take it from there. Now, let me add this to that too. I think the U.S. Embassy today to weigh in and asking these people to go back to the Sin Statute Code and respect the rule of law. That is the turning point in the whole thing, respecting that rule of law that they refuse to do. So this my favor fanatic cover. The public sentiment going towards fanatic cover because these guys not doing the right thing. Go and do the right thing and then let have this thing resolved.
Right. You said about the how do you call it? The U.S. Embassy got involved in it. They're trying to talk to them. For a couple of weeks back, we had the ECOWAS delegation into Liberia asking the lawmakers to go back to the right thing. Apart from that, other people, the ex-president, the emeritus, Madam Ellen was also involved. I think President George Weah is also speaking about they are trying to hijack democracy in Liberia. They are not listening. What would the court do? Linford and Paul, you guys tell us. These guys are stick to their guns. They are not giving in. You see on the paper, the Oracle News Daily saying, like the House rebels failed for a second time to remove Kofa as Supreme Court hails hot actions pending legal review. But now, we also understand that the Supreme Court does not have power over the House. Will they listen? That's the point we are saying here. It's just something that the court is not doing anything. The court is not stopping them. What can the court do? Now, we also understand that the executive, which is headed by the president, has submitted the budget, the draft budget, to the bloc, the majority bloc, which is now headed by Richie and Kuhn. The budget, our budget, I think there's a newspaper. I think there's a story on that. You can pull it up. So you can see that there are three branches. We have the Supreme Court staying in the middle. Now the House has been, the legislation has been supported by the executive. While they were in crisis, the House is in crisis. The executive has passed over the budget, the draft, to the majority bloc that is a rebel, considered to be so-called rebels. So why you guys are saying that the I call it the embassy of U.S. embassy has come in and the ECOWAS is in, they're not listening to anybody, it's still going on. So where do we stand here, gentlemen? I think Linford or Paul, you guys can say this. Because I don't see no way out. Go on.
Let me get. Oh, Paul, you want to come in or?
No, you go on. Anyone can take it.
Okay. If we look at, I'm glad that I was one of those students who studied our elementary and high school civics, or let's say elementary and junior high school civics in Liberia before they took it off the curriculum. Now, our governmental system is not absolute monarchy. It's not monarchy form of democracy. It is democratic, absolute democracy, if we should put it that way, where we have three branches of government coordinate, meaning equal. So if you build a triangle, right, you start from the upper point, the two layers come down, then they meet, then you bring the other layer down. So there are three pieces in that triangle. They all, without one, the other one cannot stand. So just draw a triangle in your head and see what I'm talking about. You got three pieces of stake, one down, the two standing there. So if you move one, the other two will collapse. The one to the part of the moving, the other two will collapse. So our government, and when I hear people say there are equal branches of government, the other one does not have power, or the other one is not true. It's just a picture of the triangle that they created to interpret how equal they are. But one of them is most powerful. And that branch of government that is most powerful than the other one is the executive. And somebody will ask me why. In my own explanation, is that the legislature is the first branch of government for the fact that they make the law. They design they are the architect. Tell how you want to build the architect will get the blueprint. Then who builds the house? The engineer. That include all the carpenters and people who want the water to mix the block, everybody. But who owns the house or who lives in the house at the end of the day? The architect finish drawing the plan, if anyway own. The engineer can build a house. They all the way, the anyway, the house is complete. They take a key, they give it to the owner. So the owner exercises power over that house. And that's why the Civics board taught us those days that the judiciary, or the legislative branch makes the law. When they finish it, they pass it over to the judiciary. It's the judiciary that will study it and interpret it. That okay, they want to put it means so. They want it mean this is how it can be applied. When they finish it, then they give it to whatever decision the judiciary make concerning the law, they give it to the executive to do what? To enforce. If you go to Google, ask Google what the word enforce mean. Is to execute, is to take control and do what you have to do. So when people say the three branches of government are equal, they want to get no, that in my own interpretation, the executive has more power. Our president, our democracy, our president has more power more than all while the president can give executive decree. While the president can go back, all the other people, the president can decree number. We saw do they give it decree number 88A. Okay, so if the Supreme Court will take a ruling in this case now and tell the guys you'll go back to status quo ante, and then they refuse, like how everybody is looking at, it's left with the executive to exercise that executive power and say, no, you guys will have to go. Because it is the duty of the executive to execute, to enforce the law, or else the lawmaker just make a law, they take and give it to the judiciary, the people in the Supreme Court, they read it, then they take it, they put it down, then nothing will happen. Somebody has to execute it. So it's a duty of the executive, and the president has the absolute power. That's why the president can give decree. The president has the power to say, like, bro, you're going to fight Ivory Coast today, go. All the army people, nobody will ask him. And I will not ask him why. We'll start going to go fight. That's how powerful the president is. So all the people can be talking, the three branches of government are equal. And those guys in the heart, they're very clever. They create that, when they bring that thing, or they make it to protect themselves, to shield themselves against the executive, because the executive too, probably this executive does not know that he has more power even over all of them. Okay? Why does the executive branch appoint the judges? Okay, if the executive get power, so anybody could just get and say, I'm a judge in the Supreme Court, or we have election for judges. No, we don't elect judges. Okay. The president can single-handedly pick one John Brown from the gutter and say you judge. So that's how powerful it is.
Right. Okay. Before we make comment, can you please welcome some of our listeners or followers on this platform?
Oh, so I would say welcome, Riverside Pro, who been with all. I see Batiki, also welcome. I see Joseph, Konya, welcome. And I don't know all from your end, Linford, that I can see. So if you know anyone from your end, also welcome them, Linford.
Yeah, I see a lot of Bowman. I see a lot of Bowman dashboard. I can see their names, for some reason. But Pataki is here, and Riverside Pro, like you said, and Joseph B. Koyon is here. But welcome to the show. This is the Portland, Liberia. We are a European-based platform. So if this is your first time joining us, you can please help us to share the show and like our page, so that whenever we come on, you'll be notified, and then you can join us. We come on every Tuesday and Friday here at the same time, 9 o'clock Central European time, 8 o'clock Liberian time, and 8 o'clock Greenwich Mean time.
Right. Linford, I want to differ with you a little bit. Before that go, I want to ask you a question. Does the president have the power to remove the Speaker of the House?
No.
No. Okay. The reason why I want to differ with you said the president have that power, like you talk about the decree and all that. In a democracy society, and all the three branches of government in Liberia, their role have been specified. So the lower house of the three branches, the legislature, the lower house, is the most powerful house, is the more powerful than all other branches. They make the laws, they have the power to impeach anyone in the country. It's there in their preview. They can do that. The president can give order, but if it's not in compliance with the law, the lower house can put an impeachment bill for that president. It's the only house that have that power
Yeah,
to
but
do that.
the question you asked me, you asked a direct question as to whether the president can
Yeah.
remove the speaker.
Exactly,
And
because the issue here is about
listen, you know the reason why the president cannot dismiss the speaker or remove him? Because the president is elected and the speaker also is elected, first of all, as a representative of the people, and then he's elected as representative among his, a head among his peers. Now, but in this scenario, we're not calling on the president to remove anybody. What we're calling on the president, or what the power that the president has in this case, is to, in fact, call the two groups and say, look, come here and sit down and discuss this issue, because this thing is affecting the government. And if they do not come, the president can recommend. So the president has the power to. You see, it's a thin line. It's a very thin line to walk on, because people have behind that canopy that, the three branches are equal, and then the legislature, they make a law, they are so powerful. Well, then we should not have.
The reason why I bring it this. No, Linford, the reason why I say I'll differ with you on it, the president has said aside because we are separate entity of this group. Now, all of them were elected by the people. In their case, it's only the people can make that call. That's what we're heading to. And Jamal asked that question because why would the president, the thing he put out about the budget going to the upper majority, and the president know that is not following the rule of law. By doing that, if I've already sided with this group. So, and the question is, what can we do now? Everybody calling for rule of laws to be
this is where now it becomes political when the president will even allow his appointed officials to appear before that group. This is political. But let's look at it. Let's look at it from the point where we want to find solution to this problem. So should the president just sit and say, well, we are all equal? So he already said it when you're in Sierra Leone. He made a comment. He said it's a regular thing in the House of Legislature to remove their leaders. Okay. Now, the president can choose also to say, okay, I will say that if this president does not want to take side, but he had already taken side. But if he wanted to be neutral, he can sit down and not allow even his appointed officials to appear before that group, because by them appearing there means that he has, acknowledge the presence of that group. Sending the budget also shows that he has acknowledged their presence. So, but the point I'm making here is that the president he has a single power to call this group together to intervene. And then, so then, where is the power of the president? Because when they say the Supreme Court will interpret the law and the executive will enforce it. So where's so if the Supreme Court says you'll go back to status quo ante, and then the people refuse, and then the Supreme Court decision is laying on the desk of the president. So where's the power? How does he enforce it? Who will enforce it? So I think the Constitution needs to be revisited.
That is speaking by the president cannot influence them to do anything. Only that's what I'm saying. Is the people that elect
them. There's a big gap. There's a big gap there in the Constitution.
What's the big gap?
So the big gap there is, okay, you gave the president the three of us here. We say that Linford can put on the app for us to make a show, but Jima can bring all the content and Paul can do all the other work, but that only me can put it on. So Chima finish doing all the content and Paul finish doing all the technical thing. Then I say, and I putting it on. So you think we'll come on?
Okay, guys.
No,
Can I come
that
say something here,
scenario
guys?
is different. It's
Um,
different.
gentlemen, can I say something?
The president
Linford
needs to act.
I want to ask something. Linford just said something. This standoff has been going for long in the national legislature now. It's affecting state governance right now. And I'll leave it just to us that from his point of view, the executive he's the strongest of all the three branches. So we've seen it already that the executive has submitted the budget, the draft budget of 2025 national budget to the block, to the group that won the speakers out. So what is the fate, Paul and Linford? What is the fate of the present speaker, in battle speaker, J. Funati Kufa? Where is the state now? If the three benches are not equal and one is powerful than the other. I mean, the first house is the House of Representatives. So now they are losing the ground. We also understand that the Richard N. Kuhn, Nangwe Kuhn, was elected because on the ground that they have 50 signatures. And Speaker Kufa said that get the numbers and vote me out. He got the number. He's voted out. What the next step? And the executive branch is supporting the majority bloc. Now we have an issue right now. The whole government, governing function is being paralyzed. The state of governance is being paralyzed. Nothing's going on. The budget has not been reviewed. So will this continue? I just want you guys to give me a conclusion. Where do we go from here in the next 2 weeks?
Well, if our President Bwaka, I will exercise the power that the Constitution gives me as the enforcer of the law to take control of this whole thing. But I think he undermined himself by siding with the other group. And in the first place, that thing that happened on the 21st, where people say, oh, Funati Kufa was removed, it was unconstitutional. It was done hurriedly. It did not even go in conformity with their own rules. Their rules say if you remove the speaker and not the deputy, but only the speaker, the deputy should take charge for 60 days or more, or less. And in that 60 days is when you will plan the election of your new speaker. And then that 60 days will give you time to be able to evaluate, because there are several candidates that may be interested. But in this case, it took only 5 minutes to elect a new candidate. And the deputy did not even act. Okay? The deputy did not act. So they broke their own law everywhere. Now, secondly, that's in law, I think, rule for the now of it. I even hate to even waste my time on that law. Some part of it says that to do that, to elect a new speaker, they should vote. Whether you get 50 or 100 names, you should test the strength of that against the number that you have in the house. When Fala raised the issue, say, should we vote? They said no. You see, so they broke their own law. And then we said that, and we even recognize them. And I will tell you something. A lot of things will happen between now and Friday. And that particular group, today, somebody posted that I watched part of their session today. In fact, I watched it on SKT, no, Spoon TV. I watched their proceeding. When they got Thomas, the other Thomas guy came from the court. He came, okay, and they asked him to make report. It was when I became really busy, I couldn't follow it. Now, then at the end of the day, closing argument posted that one of the things they were discussing was, God, do not give up. Let's keep hope. And Thomas Fala, along with, I think, 4 or 5 other people who have been supporting them, were not in that gathering today. There were no excuse. I mean, with no excuse, no reason why they were out. And then I just received, somebody just texted me here that President Weah did actually have a meeting with members of the minority bloc, the group that is supporting Kofa. But details of that meeting is not known to anybody, but suspicions are that they are discussing their next step. Now, people that are present in that meeting, according to what the person wrote here, Yeke Koluba, Benju Masale, Eugene Colley, Reverend Samuel Enders, Edward P. Flomo, and Dixon Sibo. And those are the strong people that are being Kofa. Okay, now. And this meeting follows the meeting that President Weah had with the American embassy, where the American embassy is calling for peaceful settlement. And then they also saying here, the same person is saying here that President Weah is expected to meet CDC lawmakers soon as possible that are in the block. Now, so he's going to be meeting with CDC lawmakers that are in the block behind Weah, or behind Kofa, and also those that are behind in a majority. So from there, we'll see what will happen. The fact that Fala, along with few, I think 3 or 4 other people were absent today from that majority block, it speaks of volume. So let's keep following the story and see. But I think, and I will say this again, the president has a single power by virtue of the Constitution, the power vested in him, that he is the enforcer of the law. He should act to save the school government. That's what I can say.
Thank you, brother.
Right.
Paul.
So, yeah. Anyway,
What do you think? I want you to say something about this so we're able to go to the next topic.
So, from his own opinion, Linford, you're right. The president have the power, but in the case of the 3 branches, in this one, the president cannot do jack. And that is spared by the 3 rules of 3 branches. And what we do when people ask one question quick. No, we're not arguing.
No, continue. Yeah, one quick question. Let me finish. We'll finish. But let me ask you a quick question so I can forget. Suppose the way the case for Natukova has gone back to the court. Suppose the court say you'll go back, and they say try to refuse, and the court decision comes to the president's desk, and the executive is the enforcer of the law. So should he say that for your hand? That means you'll not be doing work. So
that's why I asked you, can the president remove the speaker? Because we get 2 speakers now. That's why he said no.
Remove speaker.
Listen, now, you gave your opinion. The president cannot remove none of them, even the representative. He can't do that. The power is in them. They have their rule to even remove their fellow person. Not him. He just there when he said implement the law. We make the law, follow the law. This is how you implement for our people. But for them, they have their own set of rules that he cannot influence. And this is the point we are. And that's what I said earlier. Go back to the Constitution and spell out. The people that put them there, the people are the direct employer of them. It's the people now who have the right to call this to a halt, because all of them have equal strength. So the president, unless it's a military group, that's where the president can use that power on them. But in a democracy, he have absolutely no power over them. So people are calling for rule of law. Let them live by what they preach, because this have a strong, it can cause the country into chaos completely. You have 30% or 29% or 27% on the other side supporting one group. You have 47% on the other side supporting another group. It's divided. Unless they go back to that status quo that Supreme Court calling for, you go live by your rules, set your rules, get the man defend himself, get him out.
Okay,
if you
Paul,
get
Paul,
a number,
I have a question for you, Paul. I have a question for you. Right. I understand that. Now we got 2 speakers, 1 deputy, 1 house. With the executive giving attention to the speaker, like Paul Linford just said, all attention has been given to the speaker, the Richard N. Kuhn, which was elected 2 days ago. Now, when you withdraw all the immunities, the security arrangement from the former speaker, does this not paralyzing him and making him non-functional? And that's kind of literally killing him, not giving him the chance to run his office.
You see, Jamal, I like the way you put your question. There are 30 or 27 people that support Kofa, right? Yes. All of the 27, I just gave you the comments, it's just a layman's example I gave you. Fonati Kofa were elected by over maybe 12,000 people, example. Musa Berete was elected by over 60,000 people. Those are direct representation of these people. If they decide, say, no, this is not wrong, our people saying, oh, get their people out, it becomes chaos in the country. And that's why people are saying, don't go this land. Because if you try to marginalize a group of people in a house, it have a big propensity to cause chaos in the country. So he can do what the president want to do, say work with a group, but then you have the other group now that you contend with. There will be no peace. That's why everyone is calling, go by the rules that is set. Get rid of this guy in a peaceful way by your own rules. You cannot bend the rules. It's just common sense.
Paul, yeah,
Yes.
I agree. I mean, you're looking at from the different angle where you see the citizens are agitated, they want to come out to fight, but you don't see that spirit coming out. You don't see anywhere where the citizens are saying today we have besieged the Capitol building, saying that if our speaker is not being put in place, we're going to break this place down. You're not seeing that. You only see the fight among the representatives. So where are you coming from? This is not coming. There's no spirit of such. So what do you think going to happen? Eventually, the speaker going to go. That's what you're looking at.
No, nobody say he shouldn't go. Jamal, get the point I'm trying to make. The horse is divided. When the horse is divided, everybody get their own strength, they get their own people. So you say, oh, we did it with a majority bloc, and then you get the other people that rebelled against you. It's not a good situation in Liberia.
I agree. I'm not disputing that. Yeah. What I'm saying to you, the point you're saying, where the citizens have the power. They the one elected these speakers. The representatives. They can come and say, today we got to put our speaker back in office because he deserved the right to be there. We put him there. But you don't see that coming up. So the fight is in the house.
So Jamal, the point I'm making here, these people that elected their own speaker, it was not a citizen. They went there to elect their own speaker. Now the country is hurting. Look at it so the budget was submitted. They will have to go debate on that budget, right? There are few things that need to be done. But if this not going through the process and everybody not getting paid, don't you think this very citizen you're talking about, they can rise up? So that's where we're heading. And I'm looking at it from that point of view, not being out because they're not standing up now. No. But if you follow what Supreme Court is saying.
So what could be the problem? I want to ask Linford, what could be the problem? There should be a citizen movement here. Paul is saying to say, like, there must be a citizen movement to arrest this situation, to this impasse that's been going on for weeks to stop. We want the citizens to move in, tell the people in the national legislature, enough is enough. Go back to work. Let's do something. But then, so what is missing? Is this a civil movement? It's not in place? Linford, what do you think? Let's be realistic here. Linford, what do you think?
Let me deal with the first question you asked as to whether if they try to take away all the immunities from Kufa, if it is now a way of getting him out. Then I'll ask the question, how would they do that? Will they go to the house and take a car?
No. Let's do what they do. Well, let me tell you what they do. They withdraw the security. They can withdraw his security.
Suppose the security don't go. If the security is loyal to him. No.
No. I come in, Linford. Let me explain to you. Let's be honest here. The security can be withdrawn by the government, the president. The executive can withdraw security. Not the justice minister can withdraw the security. That's a justice minister job. They offer the security to every hospital.
So then you place, because in the scenario you are trying to place the executive in a position that they are starting with them.
You said it already. I'm quoting you.
But wait, let me give you one example. You know what happened at the Capitol building ground today?
No.
When it was expected that Kofa was going there, and then the majority black was supposed to go there. And it was rumored from yesterday that where Speaker Kofa car usually parked, Kun wanted to carry his car to park it there. You know what happened in the morning? Kofa's car was there with another pickup, blocking the road, blocking the entrance. It's a small car pole like this under the building that no other car will park there. Okay, so you see what I'm talking about. So it's not just walking the park that they will say, okay, security move from there. Okay.
No, you don't understand. The arrangement is done
I
this way,
agree you that they just a minister, but
Paul. Can
the
withdraw
team
the
that is playing here, the team that is playing here,
Mhm.
the executive is not showing, is not coming out and saying,
But they've done it. They gave the budget to them. No, if you have the budget to them. No, that's a big thing.
Procedural political event,
Yeah,
that procedural. No, the president is supposed to give the budget when it's finished with office.
no.
At any
When the
cost,
crisis, let's get it straight. When the crisis is at stake, the country, the national legislation is at crisis right now. Why would the minister, the
okay, let me ask question.
How?
Yeah, let me ask question.
Okay.
Yeah, how are we sure? How are we even sure that the government or the justice ministry will withdraw the security from Kofa? Because the impasse is not solved. On which basis?
Okay.
That's why the Supreme Court. That's why the Supreme Court. See, because when I keep talking about the Supreme Court, because the Supreme Court is the final arbiter of all cases, so the Supreme Court will take a decision. If the other group want to remain renegade and they say no, we don't agree. So the executive should not do business with them. Two things the executive can do: either do not do business with them or call a both group. That's the point I'm trying to talk about. The enforcement of the law. Use your power at that time.
Okay. Okay, let's go back. I'll give Paul the chance. We go back to the last topic on tonight. I want to take you back.
Repeat your other question. You asked something you said.
No, with regard to the civil movement, Paul was saying that.
Okay, you're talking about civil movement now.
Civil movement, yeah.
Okay, let me. I'll answer how I think. But let me ask Paul. So, Paul, you know that Fonadi Kofa represents a district, right, in Grand Cru.
Grand Cru, yeah.
Okay. Fonadi Kofa got 30 people. Let's make it minimum 30. He got, or let's make it 28, 25. So he got 25 people that represent 25 different districts. Okay. The other group got 40-something people, and they represent different districts. So how who's going to take action? Who will do what? Kofa no group say Kofa stay there. Then the other people no group say you stay there. So what will happen?
No, but you think that Paul said.
Paul
is saying is going to chaos.
Okay, so there's no solution yet. I mean, the citizens coming out will not be the solution, because the citizens that are coming out, they may be. I'm saying they may. I'm not saying they will or they shall, but they may be divided. Kofa no group say, okay, Kofa, you stay there. Okay, and they are citizens, they are coming out expressing their feeling. Then group can say, you stay there. They are also citizens, they are expressing their feeling. So then the executive will be saying that looking at their own government currently. This is when I'm saying that the president is supposed to enforce the law right there. And you are talking, say the president cannot remove speaker. Yes, I agree. He can't go and say move from there because he didn't appoint him. But last night they had to deploy how many police at the ground of the Capitol building, and who deploys the police? Who is enforcing? It's the executive. So the executive have power. They say, right. Then the national send police there. Why are they sending police?
Thank you very much. All right, guys. Thank you very much. This has been going on almost against time. I wanted to discuss the last topic on our menu tonight, but I want to say thank you for those joining us. Don't go away. We want to take a quick break.
Yes. Jamal, before we take a break, I'll send you a video. I don't know if you can upload that video quickly.
Okay, let's see if we can do that during the break period. Okay. Is it concerning the discussion topic on the discussion? Paul?
Yes.
Okay. Let's see if we can go into it later on. Okay. I will do that during the break period. Let me take a quick break and then we'll be back to the Paul. Once again, I want to say a big thank to all those who joined where you joined us from. We've been discussing Liberia and also the international issues that are making headlines around the world. You know, the biggest issue in Liberia today is we have in Liberia 2 speakers, 1 deputy, and 1 house. And it has been an issue. So it's been going on for 2-3 weeks now. And we don't know where we are. Liberia is at a state of crisis. Governance is at stake. The budget has not been reviewed. It's been passed to the national legislation to review. Nothing has happened. And there has been going on. Talk shows have been discussing it. Radio stations, TV stations, even the embassy of the United States of America weigh in, even as well as the ECOWAS. They were in Liberia to discuss it up to the present. Nothing has happened. We don't know where we are going. But in the meantime, let's take a break. We'll be back. We'll be talking other issues. Thank you very much. Let's don't go away. Come back to join us soon.
You are watching the review of Liberian newspapers headlines that made news during the week on the Bottom Line Liberia. Please join us every Tuesday and Friday at 7 p.m. Liberian time, 8 p.m. UK time, 9 Central European time.
You see, unnecessary sleepy on duty. While patients are crying, they having conversation. While patients are dying, they busy chatting on Facebook. Anything you do.
Okay, that's a little bit of challenging that to let you know coming back. Paul, you say you gave us we want to break into with video, right? Let's see what we get here. I don't think we'll have that much time, Paul. Can we put that to another time? Is that okay?
Yeah, the reason why I sent that, there was a question you asked, and Joy Howard Taylor, is her view. She was in the legislature when Edwin Snow and Ellis Tyler were removed. And she made a statement in that video that during their crisis, removal of Tyler, President Eddie Johnson Sirleaf submitted a budget to the speaker, the elected speaker, not the rebel speaker. In this case, Linford keep talking about the executive the executive is the one that actually broke the law by sending it to the rebel group. They have a speaker in place. No matter what's going on, that budget should have gone to the speaker. And this is the point. So they violate the law enforcer actually violated the laws. So how do you do this? And this is the point.
I was looking at the branches of government and their functions. I was not looking at individuals. I know I said it from the start that if this executive had not compromised, because the fact that they can allow their ministers and other appointed officials to appear before the renegade group, that was a breach of the contract. I said all of those. But I am giving the function. I am saying if this president was not siding with the other side, that he has a power to bring this whole thing under control by citing the both groups. And that is part of his enforcement power. I was looking at the structure of the government, the office of the presidency, not the president occupying it. So that was my point of argument.
All right, then. We have fairly discussed this topic tonight, the crisis in the national legislature in Liberia. 2 speakers, 1 deputy, 1 house. Where are we going from here? We'll continue on Friday. Look, it's a prevailing situation. The country is in crisis right now, constitutional crisis, so to speak. We will move on to our next topic tonight. We've got a couple of minutes left and we'll discuss that. And if you just joined us, we'll say welcome. This is the Bottom Line live discussion coming to you from the Milan, Europe. Jamal Kamar is my name, coming from Manchester. With me tonight to discuss the issues, the newspapers, and other issues here. It's my good friend and brother in TWB in Norway, Linford Agongoy, and me himself in studios in London studio is Paul, the Lord Chodoplay. Guys, we will go on to the next topic. What do we have, Paul? The next topic to discuss.
Let me see. What do we have? The next topic is about universities in Liberia. Where can I find this thing? Let me see if that's the one. Hold on.
It should be here. This one.
Yeah, put out. Yes. Below, the NCHE beginning inspecting universities today. There's so many universities in Liberia. And some of those universities, Jamal, you take us through. Why are so many universities and our students they even don't have a better what we call primary school, what we call elementary school standard before reaching the high school, then university. And later too, we're told that the University of Liberia is trying to introduce a PhD program. So this group is a regulatory body that are trying to inspect all universities. Some of these universities don't even meet the requirement to be university. So take us through this paper, Jamal, then Linford can chime in.
Yeah, I would love to. After I'll just get a little background on what the NCHE stands for and when they were established and the roles they play. Then I'll pass on to Linford. Before Linford became a full-blown journalist, he was a classroom teacher. You're going to be drilling us through some of these difficulties, challenges we have in education, Liberian educational system, as we talk on primary school up to high school and up to university level. I know he did not go to university in Liberia, where he graduated in Norway in different discipline, but he may have a very vast knowledge in education of Liberian education. But in any case, the National Commission for Higher Education of Liberia, which stands NCHE, which was established in 1989 by the national legislature on 3 roles. Their 3 roles was policy, accreditation, and program approval. So they will develop guidelines for establishment of higher education institution in Liberia. That's the policy. They will evaluate and accredit and monitor higher education institution in Liberia as well. And one of the last role is to approve new and existing universities higher education. But now this is the situation. There are too many universities, too many colleges, too many vocational schools in Liberia, which is about once you're above high school, is a higher education. So this body controls and monitor your functions. So they are going to go around the country. There are too many substandard higher education in Liberia. They want to make sure these things are curtailed or prevented. So, but the thing is, we have a challenge in Liberia in terms of education. I cannot remember. I think one of you here on the platform will attest that a year under Ellen Johnson's leave, there was entrance exam at our major university of Liberia, where everyone failed. All applicants failed that year, the entrance. So, and now that was a big news all over. It went viral everywhere around the world that nobody could pass an entrance exam in Liberia to enter University of Liberia. That was a big shame. Now, where we are now, this body, the NCHE, is going around to make sure that we don't have substandard education in Liberia. Comparatively, in West Africa, or just a small part, you will find out that we send our students to places like Rwanda, Ghana, Sierra Leone, Nigeria, to go to school. When those years back, they were coming to Liberia. I remember some students from South Africa were coming to Liberia to study, when I was growing up. Other African countries. Sierra Leone, I went to school with some Ivorians. They came to Liberia to learn. But now, we are leaving to go to other African countries to go study. So it's a big, what's the problem? So Linford, he was a classroom teacher before he became a journalist. I may have some idea to share with you. Linford, take us through, brother.
Thank you very much. If I should describe the educational system in Liberia as a whole, I think it has a deep hole inside, a big vacuum, big gap that needs to be filled from all aspects, from the instructional aspect to the administrative aspect. The group that you just mentioned, the National Commission on Higher Education, they got 3 primary roles that they're supposed to play, and they were established in the 80s. So if this group was established in the 80s, and they are charged with 3 primary responsibilities. Number 1, policies. Number 1, to accredit all schools and to evaluate programs. And the third one, I can't remember.
Yeah, the approval, to approve.
To approve. That means after they have evaluated, then they will approve the programs and then give you the accredit you. That is the last process. They will evaluate, approve, and accredit. Okay? So they should have, in fact, been a watchdog. They should have been a gatekeeper from elementary school all the way to high school and then to college. But where have they been? They have been dormant. In my own opinion, that they will allow the proliferation of universities that have been awarding people degrees already, and they come at this point. And I was surprised when I was in Liberia. That's why it was very difficult for us to enter the University of Liberia. It was only 2 universities, so to speak. It was Cottington and LU. So if you are in a Monrovia area, the shortest call for you was LU. If you didn't have money to go to Cottington, then you got to go to LU. And guess how many people were coming out of high school every year? Okay. So it was very difficult to enter the university. And for this group to wait until, recently, in the 2000s, at least they get AMEU, they get AME, they get it 1 year, they get A1, they get Stella, all kind of university. So I was like, how? So you mean like Brussels? And now, don't get me wrong, it's not bad to have several universities. In Norway, we got a lot of colleges and universities. England, where you live, that is home of education. They got millions of universities in England, over exaggeration. Okay? It's not bad. But if there is a commission on national higher education, they should be the ones evaluating these universities, their curriculum, approving it, and accrediting it. Before I left from here to go to England, I was in a college here, and Southampton sent people, normally they do it every year. They sent people to come scout students for the maritime program. And one of the requirements for us here in Norway is that if you are a Norwegian student and you're taking loan to go study outside, that university that you're going to should be approved by, I think, the World University something, and then the Europe, if it is in Europe, it should be approved. That's why even on our degree, it's from Southampton, it stands there that it is up to a European standard. Okay, so you see, for that group now to gather at this point to say that they want to inspect schools, where were they in the first place? So if they inspect the schools and they find out that their curriculum is not approved, are they going to withdraw those degrees that the schools have been offering to other people? Or are they going to close them down? Or are they going to say, well, we start from new, you guys got to start from here, you bring your curriculum, let's review it, approve it. So I think it's just a waste of time. They just want to make their presence felt. Probably send the budget is going to pass. They want to get some cut in the budget under the Ministry of Education. And you asked about my opinion from the classroom. I will tell you that it's a big gap. I left high school 1982. 1983, I started teaching. I had absolutely no experience. I never served as classroom teacher before, not even kindergarten, except when I was in school. I used to do home teacher, okay? And luckily for me, I will not praise myself, I was smart. So when I entered the classroom, I have to first of all adjust myself. Because nobody taught me anything. Nobody told me how to even treat the students, nothing. But I had to adjust myself. Because I started even at a higher level. My first day in the classroom, I started at a higher level. Okay. My neighbor is teaching in the school in the morning, in the afternoon, and he's going to early in the evening. Then he formed a night school for himself. So saying he doesn't have time, he said, "Mommy, but you have graduated from high school, you're working right. Can't let me carry you to my school so you can be principal." Can you imagine? From nowhere. So when I assumed that role, I had to first of all settle myself as a classroom teacher, then as a principal and all these things, which functioned very well. So I started teaching 83, 84, all the way to 1988. I even went to another school. So I was teaching 3 times a day. 3 times. Morning and afternoon in the same school, in Lakwasi. Then the next school in the Paris. I started teaching in the Paris. And I have Western in the Paris. Teaching social people. Okay? So, but teaching is an art. But you can also develop a skill. So, a lot of teachers you see in the school today in Liberia, most of them are not trained teachers. That's why they call them teaching assistants, especially in the high schools and elementary schools or junior high schools. But they're educated. They know the subject matter. Okay? But that art, you have to learn it. The same thing, like in my era, journalism, you see a lot of people carrying a cell phone around today. Oh, yeah, why I need? What you think about this thing? It's not all to it. You got to know the techniques. You got to know. But as long as you can show the phone to somebody more and the person talk, everybody hear them, then you become journalist. It's the same thing. A lot of people stood in a classroom. They were not trained teachers, but they were teaching people. And I can boast. All my students, some are lawyers in Liberia now. One of them is flying U.S. Air Force in Italy. One in Australia, who is doing his second PhD. My students, you see it? So at least I did my part, but I can tell you that because of the system in our country, there is a gap, there's a big hole inside. But again, you can't do anything when the government is look at how crude our phone. We're 86 or 81 coming out
89,
today.
89, 1989.
Can you imagine?
Right.
You know how many students that
Yeah.
walk out of those schools with document and some of them working, some of them all over the place. So it's so funny. We got to fill in that gap.
Right. Linford, thank you very much for that. Linford, if you just joined, we'll just let you know we have issues in Liberia with the educational system. The National Commission of Higher Education in Liberia is going around to inspect universities around in Liberia. Now we're saying, why now? We got too many substandard universities in Liberia. Not even that. Let's start from the primary level, where you have in 2016, I think around about somewhere around in August, 25,000 students, high school leavers, failed. Almost 25,000 high school leavers that were preparing to enter University of Liberia, failed the entrance, the admission exam in Liberia. It was a breaking news all over around the world. Now the question is, what are the issues? They say a fundamental issue. You say from the ground where Lipa just said that he went to start teaching without even having an idea how to teach, but eventually in the process he got trained. He went around. He boasted. He's proud of his students that he taught.
Yeah,
And
can you imagine for 5 complete years, 5
Now,
years from 83 to 88?
if you are joining
Wow.
us right now, we want you to share a comment with her before we end the show. Tell her what you think about educational system from the primary, kindergarten, primary, high school to higher education. Paul, you were in Liberia. It's came from one of the radical, well-noted high school called Turbulent High in Sinko, and you traveled to Russia to study engineering. You must have some good idea about Liberian educational system before coming to Europe. And where we are now with the mass failure in 2016, you think what we can lay hand on? Where do we have a problem?
Well, Jamal, firstly, I would say this group should be the how they call it, the body that we regulate, and that's the body that we also inspect teachers, whether they're good enough to teach the student in the classroom. But the whole thing here is belated since 1989. So what I know, you see, some of the high school or elementary school or junior high school in Liberia, this group's supposed to be visiting each and every one of those schools to see the performance of the student. If they poorly performing, they have the right to close that institution down. That's so because they have not done their work. So in Liberia today, you get garbage in and garbage out because of their poor performance. This is where we are. Now, the university that were created just after the war, there were so many. Usually in a good country, some of these universities, they will start as, how do you call it? We'll call it a college.
Yeah, community
And then
college.
they'll be monitored for years. And then if they meet that standard before they'll be accredited to become a university. But we know St. Patrick High School years ago, they were one of the top high school. Over there, they became Stella Marie University. What was the process that they went through to have that accreditation to become a university? Today, you have, how they call it, 7 Days Advantage University on the Ralphie Highway. How did they become a university? All of those things were not taken into consideration. So maybe it's now they want to go and do their homework and see how some of those teachers that are already there, if they can do some sort of advanced training, improvement in their educational teaching, maybe it will help. But for this group now coming up is the late in the game. So maybe it's a good start now for the next generation. But that's how I see it. Because you cannot come up with a university and then somebody gave you money, say, oh, we're going to teach this group, and then the next thing they become university overnight. I think that they didn't do Liberia or good service on this one.
Yeah, but Paul, one question, if we have any other people, one question I would have asked them is, what will happen to those people who have graduated from those places? Because, you know, yes, going out to inspect those places, I agree, it's a very good thing. But the thing you have, you see, one medical doctor or one man who says a medical doctor, the man giving people poison, you call it medicine. And a lot of people are taking it and and you go catch a man, say, my man, bring the medicine. So I will take it,
The
other
program
poison.
come back. The program come back, they gone. But let me tell you something quickly. Jamal, I was in Liberia, that was 2017, 2018. And I was walking one day, a colleague of mine who is teaching at Harvard High School, junior high school. They wanted me to start teaching what they call statistics. They got to me, oh, you'll be getting $320 a month. But you want to go for 2 days a week, the boss will pick you. I said, but wait a minute. I never taught elementary school in my life, even how to call it, where they say homesteaded, where you get 3 children sit down to teach them, and never happen. And you want me to go teach statistics? You say, oh, my man, but you in IT, you're capable of doing this. Just take the book, but it requires planning. You have to plan your course. You know how to execute the code from start to. I said, no, man, don't put me in the mess because I don't even have a clue of even teaching 2-year-old in a home. Then for me to go teach statistics or high school, what? So we and Linford said it here. He had no clue, and he decided, and he mastered it in the end. I could have fallen in the same situation.
I was lucky, even though I started as principal, but I was lucky. When I started, the same more I started applying to the small school in La Paz, and that school was well planned. So when I went there, I told them that I was teaching about. When I went there, I didn't know anything about lesson planning. And then we had people who were teaching on how to plan lesson planning and presentation. So everything I was learning in that my small school in the morning, well, I was now taking to the next quite knowledge transfer.
Yeah. Right, ladies and gentlemen, thank you very much. If you just joined us, this is the Born Liberia live discussion coming to you live from mainland Europe. Jamal Kamar is my name. Tonight, discussing the issues on hand is Linford Egongoy in Norway, Paul the Lord Chilipe in London. We'll be looking at the, just to recap, we'll be looking at the main stories from around the world, more especially the fighting or the war in the Middle East, Gaza, Lebanon, as well as in Israel. And also be looking at what's going on around Ukraine and in Liberia. How is the national legislature is in crisis? This is what we'll be looking at tonight. 2 speakers, 1 deputy speaker, and 1 house. Where are we going, Liberia? That was tonight's discussions. Tonight, my colleagues were there to just delve into the issues, and we're doing our best from our personal perspective. And next time, we'll be here again, same place, same platform, same time, on a Tuesday, also on a Friday. Don't forget, like the show, share the show. I'll go to my colleague to give our last round so we can say a happy Tuesday evening for you. I'll go to Paul the Lord. Paul, what do you have to take us home? What's your last takeaway tonight?
Thank you, guys. It was a great show, and I'll say thanks to our followers, and also the comments were good. What from tonight's show, I think what Benjamin Netanyahu have done is that to call for ceasefire and take it to his parliament for debate is a good thing for the Middle East. But why now? That would be my question, and we hope that they have a ceasefire. But not only for the Hezbollah, he must also stop killing the people in Palestine. And for the rule of law, I think it's about time that both houses, for the sake and peace of Liberia, they should go back to what Supreme Court told them, let them go to startup code and do the right thing. Remove fanatic kofa, peaceful way by using the rules of law. And with the education system, I think it's belated for this inspector, but it's never too late in life to change course. So yes, it was a great show, guys.
Starting from the international front, I think the action by Benjamin Netanyahu, while others may think that it's a good thing, I think it stems from the point of, compulsion. It becomes compulsory for him at this time to do that. Not that he's willing, but probably there is something. And I can tell you that if you deep down, there is something that triggered that action. Either the action by Hezbollah to share Israel profusely in recent time could be one of the things, or the arrest warrant allegedly put out by the RCC, could be another thing, or he may be facing pressure from his own people that, hey, no, stop this war is not good, or so many reasons, or his major ally like America will say, no, listen, they war, we thought when it started 2 years ago, we thought you're going to be short, but now it's lasting too long and we got a lot of things on our hands. So it's so many things, so many possibilities. But I'm sure that he will not come out to say this is the reason why, but I'm only speculating. And so, and the person, we hope that it will hold. And again, we've seen this thing play out before. The Middle East, the Hamas, the Hezbollah, all the different groups, they are hard not to crack. You can't predict what their next action will be. So we just hope that all sides will abide by whatever ceasefire they're calling for. And I think they should be sincere. So don't have wrap behind your head in your head behind your back and tell them, oh my man, put your own right down when you put your own down here. So we hope that it will hold. In our national parliament, we hope that I hear for when people be talking about pray. Oh, we pray that. I mean, I don't pray. I only hope. I don't pray all the kind of thing. Because it's not possible. So what you praying for? So we hope that they can see reason to end this impasse, or else if both sides will hold on to their side, I don't see any easy way. Some of them will say, oh yeah, we'll pressure the man to move. The man is comfortable. No, the first thing for them to cover is not a hungry man. The man get law firm, he getting money. He's been working as representative for 6 years, and he was in fact deputy speaker. So he got some solid cash. So they can sustain it. He's not hungry. In fact, the guy they got to pay today, they are paycheck, right, both groups. I heard Safoko say that. So Safoko say they got not been coming to work, but they took their pay, and they generally ask him, you took your own tree? He said, yeah. So you see, in that case, for the conversation, taking a pay. So why does he care? So they can sustain it. Okay, you'll say I should move, you can't remove me, you'll bring your proof. No, we can't make it. If we look at judicial, I don't want to take a whole discussion by again. But yeah, the people at RLJ spending all that money in hotel. So the seat of the government moved to the hotel now. But again, they will find some kind of excuse. So if the executive want to play this double standard game that is supporting this guy, it is our own government. They can try it will crumble one day. So let the guy stay at RLJ and paying a huge amount of money while you're looking for money with all around the place, begging for money to run the country, and only to move one particular person, one man. And not through the legal process, you prefer to spend all that money, they can do it. But at the end of the day, like Paul was saying, the Liberian people should be want to take action. And if the Liberian people are taking action, let them stay as one group. They shouldn't say we are doing it for Kofa or we are doing it for Oregani and Kun. Okay. Then lastly, the education bit. You see, myself, I'm guilty of it, so I can't condemn because I went to the classroom with no formal training. Even though you can, let me tell you, and Paul, maybe I don't know about things like medicine and other things, but even if Paul was a doctor and I'm just a guy holding Paul's bed and I can see Paul operating the people, he can clean the soul and Paul, one day when Paul not there and the person bring the soul, I can do it. So everybody can learn by some kind of way. Yeah, somebody can learn by some experience. So I'm guilty. I stood in a classroom and taught people, even though I showed them or I taught them what I saw in the book and what I knew. And I'm proud that again I produced some good people. But I think this group their action is belated. In fact, if I were the president, I would dissolve all the people who are there now and form a new one so that it will be active. Because some of the people, we're talking about 1989, Paul. You know how many years that? Some of the people, maybe some guy there, they were going through the document of the Minister of Education and they saw this thing. They said, oh, my man, but all Paul said together and say we don't want to say holding it so some money can kind of budget for 1989, man, talk about almost 40 years.
Yeah, but 36, 37, 36, yeah.
Yeah, can you imagine? So most of the people did not use phone anymore. So even a guy of 15 years, which is not possible, though. So the people who are in administration without that appointment, that do appointment with people, they should be 60, 70 years. So a few guys, trust me, Paul, and what I'm telling you, few guys, when they saw that document, they said, no, my man, they think we can revive it and we can get some money. But I think their action is belated, even though it's good, and we hope that they will be serious again to reform the educational system of our country. Look at it. Let us start with the University of Liberia first before they can even go to all the other private universities and whatever. Thank you.
Thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen. We want to say a big evening, good evening to you. Good afternoon, good morning, wherever you're joining us from. This is the Bottom Line Live discussion. Jamal Kamara it's my name. I'm joining you from Manchester. Like my colleagues called the Lord Children for London, Elaine for Eagles from Norway. I want to remind you to join us here every Tuesday and Friday at 8 o'clock Central European time. I'm sorry, UK time, 9 o'clock Central European time. And also in like 10 o'clock Liberian time, yes, I will be 7 or 8 o'clock Liberian time. And don't forget to also catch us on we're on Facebook as well as we have a live video. That's the Born Live Radio Live. You can also join us every afternoon. We also on Facebook, YouTube as well. And don't forget to check on our website. And I'll bring you up, I want to say a couple of pleasant Tuesday evening. Want to link you take you with our boy called Teddy Rai. We'll take you with Teddy Rai, which is on night.
So now you make it. Everybody wanna know what do you do for your lady. When you not get money, nobody care. Nobody wanna know how you living. So now you make it. Everybody wanna know what do you do for your living. When you not get money, nobody care. Nobody wanna know how you living. So use your head. Know how to call it. You better use your head. You wanna how to call it. So use your head. Everybody wanna know what do you do for your living. When you not get money, nobody care. Nobody wanna know how you living. So now you make it. Everybody wanna know what do you do for your living. When you not get money, nobody care.
This is the Bottom Line Liberia. Join us on Facebook, YouTube and online radio. This is the Bottom Line Liberia. Join us on Facebook,